Yeah, thanks for staying tuned. You've been joined now by Idemudia Dima-Okojie, a well-rounded and seasoned professional and entrepreneur with about 16 years experience across several sectors. Today, he shares his experiences on how we can better manage our finances in the new year. Welcome to the show, Heidi.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the show, Idemudia.
Thank you.
John can say ID.
Some people will say
It's
Heidi,
great
some
to
will
be
say
here.
Ide.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good to see you.
let's
Thank
get
you.
right to it. Helen,
Yeah,
I'd want you to fire the first shot.
the first shot.
Yes.
Okay. The first shot is this marvelous and awesome smile I see on his face, which makes me to believe that, the goals that he's going to give us will take us will ease us
into the
2023 in the area of finance. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, so many people, look at resolutions, decisions here and there, and sometimes finance is not like the first thing on the drawing board. Tell us how important it is, to start planning finance, especially for the family, from the beginning of the year.
Okay. Again, thank you for having me. A lot of businesses in the business circle, they always tell you that cash is the lifeblood of any business. When you look at the family, when you look at individuals, almost every single thing we do has to do with cash. There's a cost to doing anything. You want to move from your house to your office, there's a cost to it. You need to send your kids to school, there's a cost to it. You want to go out to have dinner, there's a cost to it. So at the very basic level, finance and financial planning is very important.
That's the word, because a lot of us just spend, all of these things you itemize, we just get to do them. And once the money is there, we just dispense without actually planning. John?
Actually, when you said cash, my skin, I was getting goose pimples.
Why?
Because there's a way I react
To cash?
when you say cash.
Okay.
You're
totally cashless.
But you
now.
see, this conversation is all about planning.
Yes.
It's all about discipline. I've used that word before. Now tell us, what really is financial planning and why do we set them only to fall flat on our faces midway?
Interesting enough, especially now that it's the new year, an interesting statistics to note is that when people go about doing their New Year's resolution, about 43% of people fail in their resolution by the end of February. By February. So we've not even finished
They haven't even started.
first quarter. And as a whole, about 9% only, which is 91% basically fail in their resolutions for the year. So when it comes to financial planning, it's basically understanding your financial situation and bringing it to the basic level. And using this information to plan your money to achieve your set goals with the aim of being successful in whatever you want to do.
Plan your money to achieve your set goals.
So you're looking at your income, the sources of your income, before you begin to say, this income should be able to take care of A, B, C, D.
Correct.
Is that okay?
It's, you used some words earlier. I think for me, I'll add accountability. It's accounting. So, you have sources of income. So if it's your salary, maybe you hustle, do things, maybe it's investments, you know that there's an input in terms of where money is coming from. And there are so many things that the money goes out to do, whether it's in investments, whether it's rent, whether it's transportation, maybe it's even travel. So it's understanding that you have finite resources and infinite wants, and understanding how you play around with your money to achieve what you want.
Okay,
You
John.
see, that understanding, that is the cocoa of the matter. Because yes, I understand all these things. I know my children will go to school. I know that I'll have to feed them or I have to eat myself. I know that, okay, I won't have to play my golf at the end of the week. Are there any templates that will maybe help us? Or what do you, how does one score these things? How do you lay
So
it
that
out?
by February we don't
So we
fall
don't
flat.
fall flat by February.
Okay, so again, I go back to accountability.
Yeah.
Let's use, for example, your children, at least 3 times in a year, you receive a scorecard from the school, basically the results. With that scorecard or the report card for your kids, you know, they are doing well in English. We need to put some more effort in mathematics. So we do that already in different aspects of our lives. So the school fees is an example. In businesses, for instance, at least twice a year, they would give you a scorecard of how the performance appraisal. So what I find is that in most families and as individuals, we don't do these scorecards. We don't take out time to say, oh, how am I doing? And which is why a lot of people talk about New Year's resolution, because with the Gregory calendar, which you mentioned earlier, is an opportunity to do a reset. To say, oh, how did I do in the past year?
Yeah.
What do I want to do in the coming year?
Yes.
And, back to your question, at the end of the day, it's now defining what are your long-term plans.
Yes.
Do I want to buy a car this year? Do I want to buy a house this year? Do I want to invest in this? And breaking it into smaller bits that you can actively monitor.
And also how much effort you should put in getting more avenues for making more money.
Correct.
Yeah?
Correct.
Okay. So my next question is two-pronged. Is the new year the best time to set New Year resolutions?
When is the
and
new year?
when and how should we set our basic financial goals? When is the best time to do it?
Sorry, Helen.
You
I
talk-
have to dive in here.
The new year is the one we stop the Gregorian.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
My own new year is my birthday.
Okay.
Yes.
But you don't start your financial planning, or you don't.
I might as well. Maybe to work for me.
Okay.
So let me put in a different way. We're in a season where a lot of people want to jackpot. Yeah. And during the year, it might click for you and your family. Would you say that, oh, okay, everything has clicked. Maybe in April, you're going to fly. Will you say you wait till January of the next year before you start planning?
No.
The truth is that you can plan anytime.
Yeah.
But we just use January 1st, the new year, because psychologically it's a time to relax, things close down. It's actually an opportunity to relax and say, okay, what have I done? What do I want to do?
It's a convenient.
It is very convenient
for us. Yes.
but it's also very risky.
Really?
It is risky because there's also a lot of hype around it. So because of the hype, oh, we're excited, oh, this is our plan, which is why at the end of the day, 43% fail at the end of February.
So you're not just doing it out of conviction, you're doing it because it's convenient and everybody is doing it.
You know what? I feel that the new year should start in February. Ask me why.
Why?
Because you see, January is such a long month. You've spent so much money in December. Then January is like 101 days, right? But February is 28. February is 28 days, and it works for a lot of people. So let's start the new year in February.
Oh, John.
So this comes back to discipline, which you mentioned actually, because at the end of the day, if you are disciplined enough and you plan, you know that January is always long. It has always been long.
Yes.
And February is always short. So we all need to find a way to be prepared for it.
So it's all about discipline. It's all about preparation,
Correct.
getting it right.
You know, this is a very serious area. Like everything else revolves around whether you are rich or you're poor, you have money, you don't have money. It's so important. Now, you talked about periodic reviews a while ago. When should these be done?
It's a beautiful question. And this comes up with some of the organizations I consult for. For many big organizations, they have periodical reviews. Sometimes they'll say, oh, quarterly, sometimes monthly. So for instance, organizations on the stock exchange, they will release their quarterly results. as an accountability to the shareholders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? For
the family.
For the family, I'm going there. So a lot of us work one way or the other in these organizations, but we fail to bring that learning and that culture down to our family.
Actually,
So in these organizations, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, they are meeting as a group, as a management team, to say, how are we doing? But in the family, we don't take time with our spouses to say, in this our organization, which is our family, for me, the Dima-Okojie family limited.
Yeah.
Most of us don't take out time. I'm not saying do it weekly, but monthly.
Okay.
What did we say we'll do?
yeah.
Did we achieve it? How far below the target were we? How high above the target were we?
What should we do?
What should we do?
Where do we want to be?
And in some of these activities, I use the SSAR framework, especially when planning, I'm going to say. So there are some things you will start.
Yes.
There are some things you will stop as a family, stop doing.
SS.
There are some things you will amplify.
A.
Amplify because you are doing well, but you should amplify
do
them.
more.
You should do more of it. And there are some things you should reduce.
Okay.
And almost, so I'll use, you had a health segment earlier. I'll use health as an example.
Okay.
A few years ago, I was a little chunkier. So I wanted to be healthy. And I said, you know what are the things I need to do using the SSAR?
Yeah.
So for start, I said, you know what, I will start eating right. I'll start drinking water early because water is very important for you. What are things you will stop? I said I will stop eating at night.
Okay.
Because eating at night is not necessarily good. And what are the things I will amplify? I said, okay, I'm jogging, I'm doing exercise maybe once a week. I'm going to start doing it maybe 3 or 4 times a week. What are the things I will reduce? I said I was going to start reducing my portions, maybe reducing on some.
And this you couldn't have achieved alone. So it's a collective bargaining, like you said, the board meeting at the office. So it should be a board meeting for every member of the family, this planning.
Just to add to that, as part of the planning, one of the reasons we fail in terms of our targets and whatever is because we don't have the right accountability structure in place.
Okay.
Sometimes this can be somebody that you respect. You know, shame works in some things.
Yeah.
So if someone you know and you trust, you know, and you can be vulnerable with, can be there for you to go to and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. I want to achieve this by this time. And that person is there to say, oh, have you achieved it periodically? Or maybe once a month. Where are you with this? It helps. For me, with my health, I had someone who was there for me. And you know what? We worked together. And it was successful.
I find this really interesting because you're not an accountant.
No.
So it means that financial planning is not really...
It's for everybody now.
It's life.
It's life.
It's like
life,
the bus conductor who wakes up early in the morning. He knows how much he needs to be able to buy, and he and the driver, they know how much they need to eat for the day.
Yeah.
They know how much they need to pay the boys on the road.
Yeah.
They know how much they need to put petrol in the...
They know how much they make on a bad day.
On a bad
on
day
a good
and
day.
a good day. Which is why sometimes you see them, they are rushing because, you know, with their job, time
Yeah.
matters.
which is why they do some of the things they do. So they already, as rudimentary as it is, they are financially planning for their day. And you don't need a PhD in finance to
know
effectively
to
plan yourself and your family.
You just hit the nail on the head, you know, using that example of the bus conductors who probably don't have the official, if we can use that word, financial background. And for other people in that category, which is the best way to set the New Year resolution for them? How do we go about it? Because a lot of us just say, I want to stop here, I want to stop this. And like you said, February, we're back to ground zero.
So I think there are 3 things that lead to us failing in terms of our New Year's resolution. The first thing is self-awareness. The most important thing in life is understanding yourself intimately and being true to yourself. A lot of us sometimes either are not aware of ourselves, our weaknesses and our strengths. Because if you know, for instance, you are weak in certain areas, then you need help. So the first thing is understanding yourself. The second thing is fear. Sometimes when we set those targets, we are actually afraid because some of those targets are so large that we say, can I even achieve them?
Okay. So we simplify them.
We simplify them.
There's need to simplify them.
Then the last thing is accountability.
Accountability.
You need that structure in terms of regular, frequent monitoring of your targets.
Now, okay, go ahead.
We're almost rounding up.
Yeah.
The director is saying we have to wind up the
He says we have
segment
to.
now.
Okay, now, what if I misunderstand?
Final
If I misunderstand myself at the beginning of the year, can I change my mind midway?
You can.
I can.
As long as you're alive.
That's all I just did.
As long as you're alive, there's an opportunity.
Okay.
Each day the sun goes down and comes up.
You
There's a
can
new
change your
opportunity
mind. Okay.
to change.
Great.
So financial goals for 2023. 3 words that you need anybody who has watched this segment of the show to take away.
I would say, you know what? First of all, know yourself, believe in yourself. Okay. 2, fear. Try and overcome that fear. 3, try to find someone who you can trust and be vulnerable with, who can be
to help you along the way.
Partner.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course,
All right.
managing our finances is, it's not just a one-show business.
At all.
We will be inviting you again, ID, as we make progress in the new year, 2023. I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a million for being here.
Thank you very much.
And like you said, financial planning is life. And life is not that speed. It's a marathon. You just keep going at it and you check yourself at every point. And we must kick poverty out of our lives this year. Despite the inflation and the whatever Naira is doing.
You are going prophetic again.
We must. That's one of my resolutions. Get more prophetic. Thank you. Very interesting insight there. Thank you so much. Now, moving on, let us invite Dolly Phillips to help us look better and beautiful and healthy. It's Keep Fit time. When we are done from the gym, Pharaoh Shonuga will take the show to a new dimension on the lifestyle and wellness segment. Off we go to the gym. Over to you, Dolly.